because I've got a golden ticket. Hey everyone, it's me, KatieBeth again. And this video is going to be a big story time with pictures and video of the time I finally got my invite to go to Maker's Mark and rescue my bottles of bourbon that have been distilling there for the last 7 years. So just a quick backstory on why I needed to take this trip to Kentucky to grab my bourbon. About 7 years ago, I signed up for the Maker's Mark Ambassador Program, which is a program that you sign up for free. And basically they give you a bunch of perks for bringing up their name at parties and whatnot. So they give you cute little business cards. You're not really required to do anything, just keep the brand in a good light. And in turn, you get special gifts every Christmas. And when you first sign up, the deal is your name gets put on a barrel of whiskey with about 20 to 30 other people. And when your barrel becomes of age, you go to Kentucky to pick up as much whiskey as you want from that barrel. And you get to do the whole wax pouring on it and get your stamp put on the top. And a free tour of the distillery. So once your barrel comes of age, you have about 3 months to come and rescue your bourbon. Otherwise, it goes to the general marketplace. And I did initially try to go in January, but flights got canceled and it was a whole catastrophe. Anyhow, I got to go again at the end of March 2022, and this video is just gonna be that storytime adventure telling of going to Kentucky to rescue my bourbon and the other cool things I found in Kentucky along the way and cool people I met. This video is going to be a little long, so I am next week going to be putting out smaller version videos of it of each little thing. So if you just want to see part of it, you don't have to watch everything. Or you can just keep fast forwarding through this video till you get to the part you know you want to watch. So please come along with me and let me take you on this journey, flying out to Kentucky and all of the shenanigans that my coworker John and I got up to while hitting the Bourbon Trail. Now our journey begins in the LA freeway system as John's dad drives us to LAX. So we're at the airport now, on our way to Louisville. Hopefully it works out this time. Woo! Whiskey. So if you've ever wondered about the prices of airport food, here's a $15 salad. And let me show you a $17.50 sandwich. Yeah, seriously. So here I am on the plane, my first flight since high school. Woo! Howdy. So we're on the plane. We did get some nice leg room, which is really cool. It's probably good for you because you have longer legs.
Well, yeah, but I'm used to sitting in a tiny car.
Oh, yeah.
I'm used to sitting with my knees in my chest.
Yeah, that's weird. So we were flying Spirit, which is not known for being the most luxurious, but we did get the emergency exit seats, which did allow us some more leg room, which was great for John, and then still great for me, because when I was able to move my backpack into the empty seat, look at all this leg room I have. We're on the plane, and we're ready.
This is just a 49-minute flight.
So I totally thought the Las Vegas airport would be a little more entertaining, but since the casino part was down, it really is a city that sleeps, just right there on the floor, sleeping. And after about a 20-minute layover, we were back on the plane and on our way to Kentucky. Check out the liquor menu there, $9 for shots, $12.50 if you want a soda to go with it. And even though we had the more spacious aisle, if someone has their tray down, you're really not getting out without sitting on their lap. And another perk of the emergency exit aisle, you have an armrest there. It was actually really helpful to knock out against. And I loved watching the windows freeze over. It really excited me. And then when we were on our way down, you could see that the windows were starting to melt that frost, which let you know you were about to land. We're in Kentucky. Of course, the first thing I wanted to do when I got to Kentucky was get some of the Colonel's chicken, but it was closed, just like everything else at the airport at 7 a.m. Stuff didn't start opening until about 9, and someone fell asleep. And we did the book a mystery car, and we got this Kia. Not too bad. And I've only seen these on the internet, a Hardee's. We have Carl's Jr. where we're from, so a Hardee's was pretty cool to see. And here I am, enjoying myself in Indiana. I had no idea I had switched states. We basically just walked over and had no idea. I didn't realize states were so easily interchangeable, but as you can see, everything clearly says Jeffersonville and Indiana. I just had no idea Jeffersonville was in Indiana. But we found this cute little park with a bunch of Thomas Jefferson things. And here I am, rawr, I'm an animal. I liked that eagle, he was pretty cool. And as you can see, city of Jeffersonville, which is not in Kentucky, but not too far away. We got there via this bridge that you can walk back and forth through from, and it's right over the Ohio River. Here's a really cool thing. They do have restrooms at either side of the bridge. This is me on the Indiana side. Super excited that there was a restroom because I super had to go. And look at these beautiful views. This is just so beautiful. Like, we don't get cute things like this at home. And here I am being an animal again. Rawr! Across the bridge. And one of the cool things about this bridge, too, is that along the route, there's a lot of history. So, like, old news printings that really just tell you the history of things that happened in the bridge. Like, this used to be lit up for Christmas. And this just talks about how the train used to go across, but now it's a pedestrian bridge. So it gives you things to read while you're going across. And here I am at the other side, and I'm excited because there were restrooms on the other side also. And I love that they had these adult-sized swings. It's great that adults can play on stuff too. Woo! Woo! Look at my feet! And, of course, this is when we actually found out that we were in Jeffersonville and had been in Jeffersonville because the address for everything we tried looking up on maps told us we were in Jeffersonville, Indiana. So I noticed this, but I'm not sure why. Why do they have wires with their lights hanging on them instead of normal poles like intersections back home? Can anyone tell me why? So as our adventures continued, we decided to stop for some pizza and beer at DiOrio's Pizza and Pub. And look at the architecture of these buildings, so cool. And boy, were we ever glad we stopped, because this place was really cool. So the mark I always say of a good bar is some kind of fried cheese and craft beer. And this place had pizza. Oh, and don't forget these balls. They were really good. And if you don't like the red sauce, like I'm not big on red sauce, they gave me a little thing of garlic butter, which was really delicious. And of course, the craft beer. And this was my favorite beer that I had on this trip. It was Berry Boy, and I can't pronounce the title of that brewery, but it was delicious. And these were some of our bartenders who were really great, and they let us do some of our experimental drinks. Ask Mel about it later. It's a drink Mel made up. Next we went to Cave Hill Cemetery, and it's a 296-acre plot of land dedicated to dead bodies, which is the biggest cemetery I've ever been to. I loved it, very spacious, and not everyone, but a lot of people had very creative grave markers, which made it really fun to be there. And then we found this guy's grave marker, and he's actually on the cover of my tour guide book, so that was really fun. He's a magician. I don't know why this is in his hand, but magicians. Can you tell me where the Colonel is? Oh, hello, Goose. Oh, stop. Don't hit him.
Better move out of the way faster.
That's really funny. You see what I'm giggling at yet? What I was giggling at was that the Colonel is endowed, which when looking up just means your bushes are upkept. As you can see here, the Dick family is not well endowed. However, their taller neighbor was. So I'm going the wrong way.
Yes, you are.
We made it! I can't wait to ride together again soon.
But see, her accent is kind of Selma Hayek-y.
Maybe. I can't think of what some Hayek's voice sounds like.
Very Hispanic. This is it.
Yeah, this is the brown.
Ooh, film it, please.
I'm getting there. I'm trying to get everything. It's definitely getting all our conversation. That's for damn sure.
I'm gonna edit that out.
I know.
I probably sound. Look at this little short fat man and his dog.
Especially how
And that lion.
Especially how maybe look up Hispanic actresses with big boobs.
Yeah, I'm not gonna put that in my video.
Uh-huh.
I'll sound like a perv. So this is floor 3. So it's the balcony for looking down on the lobby. And the balcony is where people say they see the guy's ghost. So we ordered the hot brown. The kitchen wasn't open for us to eat downstairs, but they allow us to order it for room service. Ooh, it looks delicious. I'm okay with us not getting our own and just sharing this. It's pretty big. Just a quick cut in here. If you do order the hot brown to your room service, make sure to just have them charge it to your room because it's gonna get charged to your room no matter what. I have the receipt in my receipt book here, and it's about $27 for the hot brown, plus another $5-ish for tip, and then $2 extra for service. And then I didn't realize tip was already in it, so I tipped another $5. So I gave the lady bringing us our food a $40, meaning for that to cover our food. So she took my $40, and I think that just became her tip for the day because I still got charged the $27 on my credit card for the room service. So just a tip, make sure to only get charged once. I didn't notice it until it showed up on my credit card bill a week later. So tip from me to you. Loving the cheese. Big piece of chicken in there. Look at this big piece of chicken. Oh, it was like that. I'm looking for the bread part to see where the bread part of the sandwich is. Looks like just a normal piece of bread. And then just covered in everything else. Pretty exciting.
So it's like SOS. It's like a fancy SOS.
I don't know what is that basically this?
More or less. It's
Oh, shit on a shingle?
Yeah.
But isn't that covered with gross stuff?
It's basically like a white gravy with chipped beef.
The tomatoes were so hot. Yay for room service. They really get your food up here when it's piping hot. Wait for the tomatoes to cool down a bit before sticking it in your mouth.
I don't think I got any chicken on this, but...
What are you thinking?
Tastes like a fancy SOS. I mean, chicken, cheese, bread. It's good.
And of course, while in Louisville, we did have to find a speakeasy, so we found one in the back of Jack's Lounge. So you walk all the way around to the back of the restaurant, and it seems a little suspicious because it just looks like an office building. But once you get inside, you see the little speakeasy window like in all of the movies.
Open up! What's the password?
But they ended up not using it at all and just letting us in. So it does seem to be basically just like a lounge, a dimly lit lounge. It's far less traditional speakeasy theme than I'm used to. But I did like that they kept up with the rabbit theme for the black rabbit. And it's so dimly lit, I didn't even notice all the melted wax everywhere. This only just came up in the picture. And they do have an actual bar if you just want to sit at the bar. So food-wise, here's the menu if you wanted to screenshot it and check it out. I'll just do a quick little glimpse of what we ended up ordering. I had the butternut gnocchi with chicken, blackened chicken, and I'll put a light on it so you can actually see. It was really good. And John basically got a $24 plate of spaghetti. And the next day we got up super early to start our bourbon day. Chicken. So we're stopping at the Huddle House for breakfast, and we're pretty excited about it because we've only previously heard about it in bad jokes.
Yeah, and from what I'm told, it's you don't go to Huddle House, you end up at Huddle House. So let's see how this goes.
Except we went to it as our destination on purpose.
Yeah, because we're tourists like that.
Yeah. Okay, let's go. So I actually ended up liking it a lot. It's like a tinier Denny's with nicer service. And there was a little story of how it got named and how it got started, and that was pretty cool if you wanted to slow through that and read it. Food-wise, it's pretty much just an all-American breakfast place. So I'm super excited that the sweet tea is like an actual sweet tea and not just the Nestle's kind that we get at home all the time. And just like that, we were finally on our way to Maker's Mark. So the basic distillery has basically been there since 1805, so quite a while. And the weather was 33 degrees. Here's the main waiting room when you first get in. And Whiskey Jean. She was the greeter. So I love these type of bottles that show pretty much what your whiskey's made up of, like the amounts of grain versus corn. I'm really into that for some reason. And if you're wondering, I did check this bathroom, and still there were no paper seat covers. So our tour began, and we got to look at the different areas and different parts of the distillery. This one was inside where all the mash is made, and that's our lovely tour guide, Taylor. So we got to see some really cool stuff in here. And this is the closest I've ever been to baby whiskey. And for some gross reason, I just wanted to stick my hand in there and eat all of that, even though I know it would probably be horrible. And our tour continued with getting to see some of these really cool buildings. And we also got to see some old printing presses where they make and made the Maker's Mark labels. So this part of the tour I thought was pretty cool. She explained the different stakes that they put in the barrels. And you can put different types of wood or different kinds of burn on them to flavor the whiskey differently. And here's one of the final storehouses. And there is a club that's more select where you can pick your own type of flavorings you want for your bourbon if you're a store bar owner, which was really cool. And then finally we came to our tasting room. So we got to try out 5 different types of Maker's Mark bourbon. Of course, we took front row. And this is what our tasting plate looked like. And of course, Disneyland style, they send you to a colorful hallway and then into a gift shop. And they did have some really cool things in their gift shop there. Gave me some crafting ideas.
loaded in.
What you'll do is
Beautiful. Clean that up just a little bit once it dries. Now you're welcome to, it's up to you. This is perfect too. That notch is kind of your benchmark, so you're welcome to keep dipping like this. And if you want a little less, you can do a little less. Spin. Nice, beautiful, great speed. Go for it. Straight down, out, level, spin. Once, twice, second. Beautiful.
And now a shameless excuse to try out my drone. So the drone's really loud, so I didn't want to get it too close to people to irritate them or interfere with any of their tours. So after that quick look up, I just brought it right down, and that's the end of the drone section of this video. And now we're leaving Maker's Mark.
Oh.
It was great times, though. Now we're gonna try to go to Buffalo Trace. I'm really enjoying all the food out here. And really excited about my meal, because in Anaheim this would be like a $30 meal, and here it was $13.22 after tax.
I'm gonna follow
We
this guy.
made it! I can't wait to ride together again soon.
My excitement over Buffalo Trace is I believe it's the oldest, or at least one of the oldest, bourbon distilleries in Kentucky. And I did email ahead of time to get a tour, and they were out, but we still managed to get a last-minute walk-up one, which was really cool. And here's our super awesome tour guide. Couldn't have asked for a better tour guide for this. He was so knowledgeable. So someone asked why the buildings are all covered in that black, and he told us that it's like a whiskey fungus that grows where whiskey is distilled, and that's how moonshiners used to be found out, because the trees would turn black. This is kind of cool. It's like an alcohol highway. They just shoot alcohol from one part of the distillery to another through those pipes. Really cool.
This is where all our new barrels come in. We receive over 500,000 brand new barrels a year. They come from our cooperage. It's called the Cumberland Cooperage. It's down in the southeastern part of Kentucky, East Bernstead, Kentucky.
And just like at Maker's Mark, you can see the stakes with the different char on them. Kind of like that gator char on that one. And the inside, it just gets completely charred so that the whiskey can absorb it. And here you can kind of see how the whiskey got absorbed into the barrel on that stake. Warehouse D was one of my favorite parts of this tour because it kind of had a little schoolhouse in the front of it that had this cool little visual. See, the first barrel is the whiskey that's been aging just for a few years, then the next one's 4 years, the next one is 9 years, and the next one is 18 years. And that's all because of evaporation and that type of thing. So it really made me understand why older whiskey is a lot more expensive, just because there's less of it. And here's another cool part of Warehouse D. See these shelves back here? It's like a little speakeasy door that you just walk right through. Well, you open it up and walk through. And then it's this really cool storeroom, which reminds me of that old meme. How much is the rent for this gorgeous apartment? Sir, this is a liquor store. That's really the kind of feeling you get in here. I thought it was neat that you could see the experimental barrels that they're making because they mark them with chalk so they can check up on them later. And against the wall were examples of the tools they use to fix the leaks in the barrels. So that was pretty cool. And here you can see how many barrels they've filled since Prohibition, which is quite a lot actually. And then we finally got to the bourbon tasting. And of course we ran up there to get our front row seats. So this one we do try 5 different types of bourbon, a soda, and a candy.
Isn't bourbon, it's vodka. Anybody know why we make vodka at a bourbon distillery? Well, we can, pretty much, right? Yeah, we're kind of set up for that. All bourbon distilleries make vodkas. It's about the operational cost. It helps you make more bourbon, right? All distilleries do that. We make 3 other vodkas here. We make Clicks vodka, Rain vodka, Platinum vodka, and this is the latest one in the lineup. It's been out about 7-8 years now. Harlan Wheatley wanted to do something different because most vodkas on the market are distilled anywhere from 3 to 6 times. The more you distill a neutral grain spirit, the crisper, cleaner, clearer it's going to be, the better product. It's like golf balls and garden hoses. Some are made better than others. Vodka's no different, right? So, and that includes even the more expensive vodkas. So he said, I'm going to do something different. So he takes the same corn we use to make our bourbons. He distills it into 7 times. That's more than most are distilled, period, on the market. Then he takes the same soft red winter wheat we use to make the Weller Van Winkle line of bourbons, distills it 7 times, but he's not finished. He marries those 2 together, distills it 3 more times for an immensely crisp, clean, clear tasting vodka. Try that vodka and see what you think. What you won't get with that is a severe medicinal aftertaste. I wouldn't recommend doing that with some Buffalo Trace rested in a barrel for 7 to 9 years in the middle of the warehouse. Remember we talked about those different locations, right? That determines different flavor profiles. Buffalo Trace, its versatility is amazing. Pick that up and nose it. When you nose it, keep your lips open. Don't close your lips. You're missing out. When I do that, I actually get tasting notes on the tip of my tongue. It's like wine, right? The versatility of the Buffalo Trace is what's so great about it. This has been my go-to bourbon for almost 20 years. I've been here almost 3 years. When they came out with this, I fell in love with it. I keep this at home all the time. It's versatile, it's great. It's great neat, like we're drinking it now. It's great over ice. It really makes a great cocktail because it is spicy and bold, so whatever cocktail mixture you put with this, it's not gonna overpower it. This will shine through. You can enjoy the flavor of the bourbon as well as your mixer. That's why it does make a great old fashioned or a Manhattan or a bourbon martini. I like a Kentucky Mule myself. I love mint juleps. Use it any way you want to use it. And remember, there's no wrong way to drink some of these bourbons. If you want to put your favorite soft drink with this, nobody says you can't. Now, a lot of folks sneer at that. They think you can't do that. Some bourbons I wouldn't recommend it with, but this one's not one of them.
So after this tasting, I found out I ended up loving all of these, and the candy too. And our wonderful tour guide hung out after so we could ask him any questions we had and talk a little. And then they sent us right into the gift shop to check out some of the cool things they have, but they did give us a 10% off coupon for going on the tour, which was cool. And again, no toilet seat covers. And we picked up these adorable hitchhikers, but we had a silent understanding not to murder each other. I mean, what are the chances we'd all be murderers? And can you guess where we're going next? And we saw an Aldi.
Right here. 2. Opening, Dining Room and Museum opening soon. Lovely.
All right.
course, we had to stop by their Aldi store and compare it to ours. And so far, theirs is a lot more spacious. Maybe because it was built just for Aldi and not shoved in another store's spot. But their fruits and vegetables are a lot lower. They're not piled up as high. And look at this aisle space. You can like take 2 carts down an aisle and not have to navigate around each other. Their third aisle still looks pretty good. And look at their freezer section. I haven't seen an Aldi freezer section like this. It's kind of neat. Their prices, though, were pretty much exactly the same as ours. Some stuff we have is even cheaper. Their cheese is about 30 cents cheaper than ours, so not a huge difference. But again, this aisle space. It's so nice. I am surprised that their prices are so close to ours, being that our costs of living are so different. Here's another comparison. It's nuts. A little more expensive and a little cheaper at the same time. And look at this space! And this is the only place in Kentucky that had toilet seat covers. Woo! Yay, Aldi! And headed back home that night. I believe this is the Big 4 bridge that we crossed over that first day we were here. And it looks very pretty lit up. Very pretty. And if anyone was wondering how I wrapped and brought home my bottles of whiskey, I put them wrapped inside of the cushioning that comes inside of pelican cases, but I left the cases at home, and I just wrapped them around and put them in my suitcase. And the other one I shoved in a cardboard box with stuffing. And guess where we went the next morning? The Kentucky Derby Museum. The Kentucky Derby Museum. So we went to Churchill Downs. It was recommended to us at the Pete's place we went to, and we had a great time. So I loved how interactive this museum actually did end up being. They even had a little pretend race game where you could make bets and print out your ticket and then watch the races live. And as you can see, I did not have the best racing strategy. And the hoarder in me absolutely loved that they have these collector's glasses, the mint julep glasses you can collect every year. And here's the theater that you sit down in for the beginning of your tour to watch the video just go around you on those video screens. Licos! And on to our tour.
More than full on a normal derby, this grandstand holds about 60,000 people. Now, when the tour began, I mentioned that the record for the derby was set in 2015.
So the majority of people don't fit in the stands, so they end up in the grass field out by that Jumbotron, and that's where you actually watch the race from. And these two peaks here are historic landmarks. I'm just really into historic things. And my inner hoarder heart rejoiced as we got our own free mint julep glasses to collect. And the bartender was really cool. He let us pose behind the bar with our glasses and with all the alcohol. And this is him. He was so nice. He went around and helped everyone take pictures. So super cool dude. And we didn't have time for bourbon flights, but here's the bourbon flight menu if you're interested and going later. I'd love to go back. And their soup of the day was pozole, which is a very suspicious soup for so far away from Mexico. And then John found some Maker's Mark cigars, which was crazy because we didn't even find those at Maker's Mark. So that was the end of our Kentucky Derby Museum tour. And then we headed on to the graveyard one last time. And then back to DiOrio's for some more pizza and beer and drinks. And then right back on our plane. Bye, Kentucky. We loved you. We had a great time. Hope to come back and do more of the Bourbon Trail a little later. There's just so much stuff in Kentucky that we want to do. Thank you so much for having us. Thanks for coming along on this tour with us. And have a great rest of your day, everyone. Bye, everyone.